So are you planning on moving to Australia on a working holiday visa? Maybe you're just about to apply for your visa. In this video, we're going to talk about some things which you might want to know before you do move to Australia. Some of them are things you might not know at all. Some of them might seem obvious, but you'll be surprised how many people make very basic mistakes when applying for the visa, and a lot of people do seem to make very similar sorts of mistakes. And I didn't make any major mistakes, but there was a few things that I didn't realize before applying for the visa, which I kind of wish I knew. And by the end of this video, you're going to know that you haven't missed anything off before you do apply for your visa for Australia. So let's go into some points, and we're going to start off with one of the most common questions I get asked on my social medias about the visa, and that is the visa processing time, how long it takes from applying for the visa for it to actually get accepted. Now this depends. If it's your first year going to Australia, it will take the longest compared to your second and third year. I actually recently applied for my third year for Australia and it got accepted pretty much instantly. There's less chance of that happening with your first year because I was obviously on their system. I'd been in Australia 2 years, so they didn't need to do as much checking, I'm guessing. But if it's your first year, you can expect anywhere between a couple of weeks and a couple of months. Unfortunately, it does vary. There's not really a set time. I think usually within a month, you can probably get your visa, but some people's do take up to 2-3 months before it gets accepted. So if you're planning to go to Australia fairly soon, it's best to apply for your visa as soon as possible, because it can take up to 3 months to actually get accepted, especially if you've missed any information and they have to send it back for you to send it again. It can take a little while. Having said that, it can get accepted within like a week if you're lucky. But your first year always takes the longest. If you're applying for your second or third year, it is a lot quicker. My first year, I can't actually speak from personal experience because it got delayed for about a year because of COVID. So yeah, it's not really an accurate representation, but from what I hear and most people that I've spoken to, it's between a couple of weeks and a couple of months. So the next thing is visa cost and money that you need to prove. A lot of people don't know that you do actually need to prove money as well as being able to afford the visa. When you apply for it for Australia, you have to prove £2,500. All you need is a screenshot of your bank or a bank statement in order to prove this. But yeah, you do have to have at least £2,500 in the bank in order to prove you basically have enough money to support yourself in Australia. And then the visa cost, I'll put it on the screen. I think it's about £300. I'll put the exact amount on the screen. So £300 plus the £2,500 that you need to prove in order to show that you can support yourself in Australia. A lot of people don't realise that you need that before the visa. So if you've only got £1,000 in the bank, you're either going to have to get someone to transfer you so you can send the screenshot, or you're just going to have to wait until you've saved enough. Point number 3 is something which not everyone is aware of, but up until July last year, people from the UK had to do 3 months of farm work, which I had to do to extend to a second year in Australia, and then to a third year, you had to do 6 months of regional farm work in order to extend your visa. This is no longer the case, and people from the UK can now do 3 years in Australia without having to do any farm work at all. You do still have to apply for each visa each year, so you can't apply for a 3-year visa. It is still every year, but you don't have to do any farm work. If you're watching this and you're not from the UK, then you still have to do 3 months of farm work in Australia. If you're from the UK as well, you can still do farm work just as a way of earning money, and it's something we might do again because it is such an easy way to earn money in Australia. But in terms of extending your visa, if you're from the UK, you don't have to do it anymore. Point number 4 is, sounds obvious, but you'll be surprised how many people make this mistake, and that is to apply through the official website for the visa. That is the official Australian immigration website. I'll leave it on the screen and in the description as well, because I've heard of people who have actually applied through a different website accidentally and either got scammed or spent way more money than they had to. It's just worth checking that it is the official Australian government website. And point number 5, another obvious one, but again, people do make this mistake, and it's don't book any flights, any accommodation or anything until your visa gets accepted. it's easy to think that your visa is going to get accepted and you can just go with the flow. But first of all, you don't know how long it's going to take to get accepted, and even though most likely it will get accepted, you never know. There could be some complications here and there, and if you book a flight for a certain date, it's just going to be stressing you out if it's coming closer to that date and your visa hasn't yet been accepted. So apply for the visa as early as possible. When it gets accepted, you will then have a year in order to enter Australia from that date it gets accepted. So apply for it early, and then accommodation, flights and everything like that, just do it after. Sounds obvious, but people get ahead of themselves and they get excited and they want to book everything when they've applied for their visa. Probably best just to wait. So yeah, there's some points to do with the working holiday visa for Australia. Some of them may sound obvious, but it's just something to bear in mind because people do make stupid mistakes when applying for the visa. There's lots of other little complications here and there, nothing major, but if you want to know anything else, if you have any other questions, then leave them down in the comments. Also, feel free to check out my other videos and my moving abroad guide, where I go into a lot of detail with the visa itself. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.